Hi YouTube, Roy Marco with Marco Custom Build Models coming today with an unboxing of the Kenworth Challenge Transit Mixer by AMT. A long anticipated kit. This is a sort of review almost a year after it came out here. Basically the reason this kit was so anticipated is it is the Kenworth W925, and if you're a model guy, and especially a model truck guy, we were under the understanding that that mold was completely destroyed from the old AMT Moving On collection. I'll show you what I got here, what I mean. These are a couple of examples of the Moving On truck, and here's another box of it. Anyway, the whole idea was that cab and front end is gone, and now if you are a Moving On fan, you can use this transit mixer truck to actually build a Moving On truck. The only thing that's missing that I could think of is the sleeper, but that might be available in another kit or scratch build. So anyway, let's get into this. This is a fun kit as it stands. You can build it as the cement mixer, or you could build it as a tractor rig, a day cab. You could put a sleeper on the back. Gives you lots of options. So anyway, let's get into this thing here and see what we have. As you can see on the back, there's tons of parts here. Let's get to what's in the box. Set that back there. And we'll go through all this. So there's what's in the box here. And to make some room, I'll just move this aside. Now, to get started, here's the cab and hood assembly. I'll just slice that open here. Now, the way they package this, the cab and the hood assemblies like this, so it's not too bad. It doesn't look like this got stretched out. I had another one here where the hood was kind of wonked when it came out of here, so this one's actually nice and straight, so that's good. So there's a whole front end there, looks to be pretty nice. This is the cab here. You can take a look at it. It's got nice detail, the door hinge detail and back window and rivets. The roof is not too bad, no big seam lines to sand out, pretty nice cab. Here is the cement mixer barrel and parts. So we have one half of the barrel here. There's the back side. Has a indication line here and where to put that piece that glues in to be the end of the spiral. These are the front wheels if you want to have the Dayton style wheels, and wheel backs and mud flaps and some other pieces there. Very nice. We have the other half of the barrel. Again, on the inside, it's got a line there for gluing that piece in. This is the sort of frame of where what would hold the barrel and all of that to the chassis. Okay. We have our cab interior tub. See if you can see some nice detail on the doors here that can be picked out on the inner panels. Back wall has the pleated finish as well. And of course you got your viewing window, which lines up with the passenger side door there. Very nice. We have the firewall steering column, which has actually really nice detail on the steering column. You see even the signal light switch has like even the little screws that hold it together on there. Very nice firewall detail. Okay, then this is your air cleaner assemblies, brackets, and your transmission for the what probably goes up to the transfer case to be able to run the cement mixer, and then your transmission there, the two halves. And I'll just flip over the back side in case you want to see what that's like. Another bag. There's a lot of parts to this. We have our two frame rails. Okay, That's the back side of it. We got our radiator and halves there. The dashboard, lots of detail on the dashboard. Those gauges, look how nice those are. You can pick those out, paint them, they look beautiful. Yeah, steering box, things like that. This is a visor, which also will come in the moving on truck, so that's good. That's all the pieces you need. There's the batteries here, your sort of frame hoop that goes below the transmission there. Got your drive shafts and some cross members, all some pretty nice detail. We'll just flip it over if there's anything on the other side you want to see. Have the front leaf springs here, nice detail on those. I want to point out there's actually not a lot of flash on this model, which is nice. I mean, there's what's to be expected on an older kit like this. That's the fun of building them though. I like it, it's all good. Alright, I'm not a big truck expert by any means, but I can point out that this is a Cummins engine, inline 6. You got your front timing gear assembly here, cover, some belts. This could be the power steering pump, filler on the side. This is air intake here. This looks like part of the reservoir for the power steering. The one thing I did want to point out on this, I noticed this is a goes from the turbocharger to the air intake. There's a lot of sinks in here that would be nice to fill those in and sand that flat. It looks a little bit, it needs a little bit of work there. There's an exhaust manifold here, KW Kenworth cross member, and then all of these are cross members for the chassis. The rear suspension assembly here, it's a big heavy duty leaf spring with a walking beam. Some more cross members here and pieces for the rear differentials. This is for the 2-speed on the, or could be more. You can fill me in on that, but for the rear axle, it's for the different gears for the rear axle. This is your front axle assembly here, and some shocks. I'll just flip it over if there's anything on the other side that you want to see. Sorry about all that moving around. Okay, big trees, a lot to cover. The other tree here, we have these. This kit appears to come with 2 options of wheels. You have the Daytons, and then these are the Bud wheels. These are the back 4 that would be on the inside duals. You got your 4 brake drum assemblies and hub assemblies for that if you're going to use those wheels. You have a steering wheel, a seat, a couple of other seats. You have a CB radio, which is pretty nice detail here. You got some suspension for the seats. These look like the hangers for the fuel tanks. There we have the front and rear differential here. We have our rear mud flaps, another set. Looks like we saw a set earlier, and then this is for a 5th wheel hitch assembly. So you could build this as a rig if you like. There's a rear plate with a license plate bracket on it. We have the air brake pieces for the rear backing plates, as well as your steering gear here for the front. And these also say KW Kenworth on the mud flaps here. And caution. Let's just see if we can get a better close-up on those. Alright, one more bag of plastic, of white plastic, before we get into the chrome and the transparent parts. We got our chute for the mixer. Have some other mixer pieces here. This is it's got a chain drive with a hydraulic motor, or it could be driven directly from that transfer case, I should say. Maybe it's direct drive. I'm not exactly familiar with my cement trucks, so you can fill me in on the comments if I've done that wrong. This looks like, I think, the water tank, because you have a water tank so you can wash off the concrete on your chute and things like that. These are the rear fenders. Okay, and I'll flip this entire tree over and you can see all of the pieces here on the other side. Other than the chain, looks pretty good. Detail on this side, which is a little more. Alright, last white tree that we have to go through here. The one thing that is disappointing, and I'm not sure, and I guess, you know, talking to other people in the community of big trucks, that these flotation tires, these are two-piece. You have to glue them together. They do have nice detail on the side that is printed. It says Firestone on there and all kinds of the tire size and detail. The only thing about them is you have to assemble them with the wheels. You can't just assemble your wheels, paint them, and pop the tires on. So that's kind of a bummer that they don't have a vinyl tire. That's the big flotation tire. Okay, you have other parts here. Some other pieces for the chassis. Those are those pieces that glue into the barrel that I talked about. These are some wheel pieces for the, I think, the front wheels. Have some more shafts and what could possibly be the drive for the barrel, the concrete barrel. Okay, there's the back side. Alright, I do want to point out that I have assembled a couple of these tires over here. So let me show you that. Here's an assembled and painted version of that tire. So this is the two halves, the plastic glued together with the seam sanded. So the only thing is you don't really get much of a tread design other than this raised layers. There's nothing sort of cut into the tread. It does have nice sidewall detail. So this is painted sort of with a primer black. It's kind of what I used. Sprayed it. Turned out pretty good actually. So I did that just to show you what the tire could look like finished. So it's not to be too discouraging. They do look okay. Yeah, again, it's just too bad they're not a vinyl tire. But anyway, that's what they look like when they're glued up and painted. Which we'll open their bag of tires next. These are the vinyl tires it comes with, and it does come with 10 tires, so you can use the vinyl tires on the front, but not so much with the Dayton wheels. But you could sand down the one ring and actually put a thin ring on the face and use the skinny tire. You could do that. These are fairly nice. There's 10 of them here. As you can see, they have some sort of pad printing on them with the word Firestone. Let's see if we can see that. It's kind of a faint gray color in the tire, so it has some detail on it. So note when you're putting these tires on that side would be visible on all your wheels. Like I said, it does come with 10, so you can use these on the front as well, not just the back. So anyway, we'll just slide those aside. So they're really nice, and you don't have to cut out the centers anymore like you used to in the older kits and things like that. So they're quite nice. Just have to give these a nice little sand, and I like the finish on these tires. They're not super glossy. So as you can see, the tire that it comes with and the tire that I painted, the plastic one, if you put them side by side, they're actually not too bad. Like, you get them apart on the truck, if you're going to do a little bit of weathering, that would look okay. It also comes with a couple of axles for the rear differentials. These are steel 0.62 rod with a nice finish on them, so that will hold the truck up nicely. Also, there's some nice soft rubber hose here if you want to use for hydraulic hoses to detail the truck. Alright, this comes with separate glass for each windshield, looks like, and some side glass if you like. So there's what appears to be windshield glass, side glass, and all these different lights you can have. Okay, you got your one for the door as well, and a rear window. One of these would also be a rear window. It'd be this one here probably, and then your headlights. That's kind of nice. Alright, probably for another option because this has 4 headlights on it, so that's probably the for another truck or something with a different front end. But anyway, there's your clear lights, or clear tree. And then here is some amber lights that you get for signaling lights, as well as revolving lights, things like that. So typical tree, this usually comes in most of the AMT trucks. And then you get a couple of red lenses for some tail lighting. So not a whole lot. Usually you get a big tree, but this one you just get this little tree here. You get a couple of lights for tail lighting. Comes with one bag of chrome here and a second bag. So let's get into that. So in this long bag of chrome you have actually 2 sheets. So there's quite a bit here going on. Our fuel tank ends here. For one fuel tank we have all these rings that would finish off the wheels. These are the rear wheels here. There's some pipes, roof lights, some horns, and some stacks and your headlight pods. It's all there. And then on this side, do we have any detail that we need to see? Not too much. So those are all your outer wheels if you want to run buds on this kit. Of course, with the buds, these tires work out perfectly. Alright, layer of paper so this chrome doesn't get scratched, and then we look at the second tree. Second tree has our fuel tanks on it, a fifth wheel hitch mount. We have some caps for the center of the wheels. We have, I think, an air tank there. We have an oil pan. We have some front mud guards. The fifth wheel hitch itself. So you could easily just make this a day cab truck if you wanted to. You have the fan for the engine. This looks like possibly some sort of fuel rail for the engine. Another air tank. We have the other 2 caps for the fuel tanks and turbocharger, air separator, things like that. These are the valve covers for the top of that Cummins on the end here. So I'm the kind of guy, I like to dechrome a lot of this stuff for my truck builds, so a lot of this would just get soaked right in and taken right down to white plastic. It's one thing that's kind of frustrating for me when I go to build a truck is how much I have to dechrome before I can build. That's okay. Sometimes you can paint right over top of the chrome too. Works out, but anyway, sometimes the paint doesn't stick too well to that. Depends what you're building. So here we are with some more chrome, and take out the separation layer. Here's also 2 trees as well. We have some rings for the rear wheels here if you're going to use these Daytons, and then of course these are the rings for the front if you're going to use for the front ones, and then these are the hubs for the centers for the Daytons. If you wanted, you could put smooth caps on. I mean, there's all kinds of options you can do there. Alright, these are probably for the top of the battery box. Different trim pieces. We have for the cab as well. This looks like the little water hose neck for the garden hose that comes out of the water tank. These Daytons are quite beautiful. For me, I would dechrome these. Seems to take away some of the detail. But anyway, there's the back side there of that tree. There is the grill, which is quite nice there. That'll easily, you can put a wash in there. That'll turn out really nice. The Kenworth badge is absolutely readable and beautiful there. Nicely done. Shifter, this is for the air cleaners, and these are the mirror mounts. Front bumper, there's where those clear lights could go in there. This looks like for your all your cabling on the back comes the stick there. If you're having a trailer on the back, if you were to build it as a rig. Okay, there's the tree. So that is all of the parts that come in the Kenworth transit mixer here. Also, there's the instructions, transit mixer instructions there. The engine is basically one big page with all the pieces. You got to figure out what goes where. And I did a little bit of research on this Cummins engine as well, just to see where things go. You can see all the way that goes together. And then on this side you basically have your final assembly of the chassis and the cab assembly, and then we get into our cement mixer assembly, the barrel assembly, just like that. So there you go. Now what I wanted to do, the reason I left the cab out here, I'm going to go into my old moving on kit. This kit I've had, I think, since I was about 9 years old, maybe 10. This was given to me by a relative of mine, and I was pretty young, and I'm glad I didn't dig into it and ruin it. I've saved it all these years. And because of the sentimental value, I've never sold it. I've been offered $200, $250 for this model, and I had said no. And so I still have it today, and I haven't even done anything other than looked at it a few times. What's inside. I'm not going to go through this kit on this video for every little detail, but what I want to do is just quickly cover how close this is to this transit mixer kit. So I'm not going to take the chrome out of the bag here. The one thing I'm going to get into is the frame rail. Let's look at that and see how close that is to the, this is, you can see it's more yellowed. This is the original kit, and this is the frame rail from the transit mixer. And as you can see, it is the same. So if you wanted to build the moving on truck, you do have the right frame rail. It's good. The chrome trees appear to be virtually identical. So you have the grills are identical, the layout, the placement, the bumpers, all of that kind of stuff is very identical, so that's kind of neat. I've never seen anybody compare this kit, so this is why I wanted to show. Here we are with the cabs. This is the original cab from the Moving On series model kit. Okay, and here is the transit mixer one, and if you look, they are virtually identical. There's no differences in the cabs whatsoever. So there you go. If you wanted to restore an older kit or build one from scratch, you have all the parts here to do so. Here are the hoods. Same story for the hoods. They are identical in every way. So there you go. This kit can be turned into the moving on truck if you wish. You just would have to do maybe a hand paint job or get some decals made. Oh, decals. That's one thing I haven't looked at yet. In the... Got too excited here. Alright, so you have obviously a lot of colors to make what's on the box art there. You have a checkered pattern and some orange pieces. You have the Challenger decals here, different license plates for different states, a couple of nice American flags there, some numbers you can use, black or white, and as well as some stripes. So there you go. Nice decals, or decals, however you want to say them. Alright, so there you go. Here's also the engine partially assembled, so as you can see, I've dechromed valve covers, turbocharger, and added some super glue on the top here to fill in those holes on that pipe runner there. And I still have a lot of pieces to put on this and then paint it Cummins beige. So anyway, that's, just thought I'd show you how that fits together in the transmission. Also the air intake. Some of the pictures I've seen, this air intake is supposed to go right to the front of the cylinder head. They're not clear in the instructions, but the way this pipe came, this actually had to go kind of into the, on the back side of the head. So Anyway, if you're a Cummins expert and you tell me if that's wrong, let me know. But that's what's the way the kit asks for it to go together there. Alright, well there you have it. There's my review of the AMT Kenworth transit mixer, which is the W925. But anyway, I just wanted to show you this kit and what's inside. And if you like these videos, please subscribe, hit that like button, ring that bell for notifications. Have yourself a great day, and thanks for watching. See you on the next one.